Welcome back to the Crystal Earth Podcast. I'm Nic Scogna. Today's episode is called The Avi Loeb Effect. We'll be looking at how one astrophysicist has managed to spark a global conversation about interstellar visitors, the possibility of alien technology, and the way science engages with the unknown. Avi Loeb is a professor at Harvard University, and for many years he was chair of the astronomy department there. He's worked on black holes, the first stars, and cosmology. But what made his name recognizable to the wider public was his willingness to ask bold questions. Questions about objects like Oumuamua, 2I Borisov, and now 3I Atlas. Today we're going to explore his influence, how his ideas have expanded public interest in astronomy, opened doors to new kinds of research, and challenged how we think about evidence when it comes to space. Avi Loeb grew up in Israel and originally studied physics and astronomy. It's already a clue to his approach. He's someone who blends curiosity, imagination, and rigorous science. Over the years, he's published hundreds of papers, written popular books, and guided students into areas ranging from black holes to the first galaxies. But what sets him apart is not just the technical work, it's the way he communicates. Loeb has always been willing to speak beyond the academy, to take ideas about the universe and put them in front of the public. He writes essays, gives interviews, and appears in documentaries, not just for other scientists, but for anyone who wants to listen. That openness and that willingness to engage is what's created what I'm calling the Avi Loeb Effect. In 2017, astronomers detected something extraordinary. A cigar-shaped object passing through the solar system. It wasn't from here. Its orbit showed it came from interstellar space, the first such object ever seen. They named it Oumuamua, meaning scout in Hawaiian. Most scientists assumed it was a comet or asteroid with unusual properties, but Avi Loeb looked at the data and saw something different. He noticed that Oumuamua didn't behave like a typical comet. It accelerated slightly as if pushed, but without showing the visible tail of gas we expect from outgassing ice. Its shape appeared elongated, its brightness flickered in puzzling ways, and its trajectory was unusual. Loeb suggested a possibility that others were reluctant to consider. Maybe this wasn't just a rock. Maybe it was a piece of technology, something like a thin solar sail designed by another civilization. Now, he wasn't claiming certainty. He was saying the data don't fit the usual categories. So why not consider the full range of explanations? That question alone was enough to ignite a storm. Headlines worldwide covered his theory. Scientists debated it vigorously, and the public suddenly was looking up at the sky with new curiosity. After Oumuamua came 2I Borisov in 2019. Unlike Oumuamua, Borisov looked much more like a standard comet, shedding gas and dust in familiar ways. For many, it seemed to confirm that interstellar visitors were mostly natural. But Loeb didn't stop with Oumuamua. He continued to argue that the search for interstellar artifacts, technology from other civilizations, is a legitimate scientific pursuit. He pointed to unusual meteors, like one detected off Papua New Guinea in 2014, which he and his team later argued was interstellar in origin. Loeb even led an expedition to the Pacific Ocean, recovering tiny metallic spheres he believes may hold clues to material not formed in our solar system. And now, with 3I Atlas passing through in 2025, Loeb's influence is again visible. Scientists are watching closely, asking whether its chemistry, its glow, and even its unusual nickel signals could tell us more than standard cometary models explain. Even if most researchers conclude it's natural, the fact that people are asking bigger questions itself is part of the Avi Loeb Effect. In 2021, Loeb launched what he called the Galileo Project. The idea was simple. We shouldn't just wait for anomalies to pass by. We should actively build instruments to search the skies for unusual objects. track unidentified aerial phenomena, and analyze interstellar visitors with the best tools available. The Galileo Project brought together researchers, engineers, and private funding. It set out to create a systematic, transparent approach to collecting data, something beyond military programs or speculative rumors. For Loeb, this was about putting the search for extraterrestrial technology on the same footing as other fields of astronomy, evidence-based, instrument-driven, and open to peer review. That project continues today, and it's inspired others to take the idea seriously. Even if the search turns up only natural phenomena, the methods developed will deepen astronomy. And if one day it finds something truly unusual, the impact will be historic. This is where Loeb's impact is clearest. For decades, the topic of alien technology was considered off-limits in mainstream science. It was something for science fiction or fringe speculation, not for professional astronomers to even speak about. But Loeb's willingness to attach his name and reputation to these questions has helped shift the boundaries. Scientists may disagree with his interpretations, but they can't ignore the data or the debates his work has sparked, as well as the growing interest. In classrooms, in research groups, and in the media, there's now more openness to discuss interstellar objects, to fund telescopes that can track them, and to consider broader possibilities. That change in tone, that widening of the conversation, is a big part of the Avi Loeb Effect. It's also worth noting how Loeb has connected with the public. His books, like Extraterrestrial and Interstellar, reached bestseller lists. He gives lectures not just at universities, but at public venues, and his interviews are straightforward. He speaks without jargon, making complex ideas understandable. This has brought new people into the world of astronomy. High school students, amateur astronomers, even people who never followed science before, are now asking questions about interstellar objects, alien technology, and the search for life. That kind of inspiration can't be measured in data alone. It's cultural. It's about curiosity spreading, about more minds being engaged in the great story of the universe. Of course, not every scientist agrees with Loeb's conclusions. Many argue that natural explanations, cometary outgassing, unusual shapes, measurement uncertainties, are enough to explain objects like Oumuamua. That's healthy. Science advances through debate. But the key is that Loeb has made sure those debates happen in public, not just behind closed doors. He's widened the circle of inquiry. Whether or not his most daring ideas prove correct, his role in shifting science toward open exploration is undeniable. So, what is the Avi Loeb Effect? It's the power of one scientist to open up a conversation, to take data that doesn't fit, and instead of dismissing it, to ask if it might mean more. It's about building projects like Galileo to seek answers systematically. It's about communicating clearly enough that millions of people feel included in the story of space. Avi Loeb has reminded us that science is not just about certainty, it's about curiosity. It's about asking the bold questions, even if the answers are far away. And in doing so, he's reignited interest in the skies above us, and in the possibility that we're not alone. That's the Avi Loeb Effect. I'm Nic Scogna, and this has been the Crystal Earth Podcast. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, keep your eyes on the sky and your mind open to discovery.